back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob here. We're recording this on a Sunday. It's going to come out Thursday. We'll touch a little bit on football, but I think we have some bigger news to cover as of last night.
Do we?
Yeah, I think you were a fucking moron.
What an idiot!
What an idiot!
What an idiot! Yeah. So I got engaged last night.
Yeah, you did.
So I guess I'll just start with the interesting stuff, starting with whatever. I don't even know. Whatever day I go, or I reach out to the woman, she's like, okay, well, I got to get some samples in, because the jeweler I went to was a reference, and it wasn't, the jeweler didn't have a showroom full of inventory and shit like that.
Okay.
It was she asked what I wanted for a setting, and then I think she asked. So she did the setting. Then I think it was natural or lab diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And budget. I think that's effectively how it went.
Yeah.
Because the setting that Michaela wanted, you don't have to choose shape. They're all round. So it's the only way it works.
Right.
So I was like, fuck. So I call Michaela's sister, doesn't answer me. And I'm on the way home, all right, whatever. Because truthfully, I don't know the difference between a lab diamond and a natural diamond.
And this is a random Tuesday at 10 a.m., right?
No. So this is a Thursday
afternoon
or something.
Okay. Yeah, because I know with your the odd work hours, you get to go do things at times when
dumb fucking times.
Yeah, but it's nice because there's typically no crowds whenever you have to go do something.
Right. So call her, she doesn't answer me. I let it go a little while, maybe an hour. Then I text her and go, hey, no big deal. All I wanted to know is what's the difference between a lab diamond and a natural diamond.
Yeah.
I let that go 25 minutes. Didn't answer me. So I text someone from the gym. I go, what the fuck is the difference between a lab diamond and a natural diamond? And her only response was lab diamond meh. I go,
not enough blood on those diamonds.
I go, all right, good enough. Yeah. There's no pain.
Yeah.
No hardship. So
doesn't mean anything. There's no emotion.
Right. So I doubt anyone died for a lab diamond. So I'm all right, truthfully, that's good enough for me. So then 2 hours later, her sister texts me back and was like, worst time ever to be getting a massage. I'm like, how long was this massage? But whatever. Semantics. Yeah. And she gave me a rundown on what a fucking lab diamond is.
Yeah.
So ultimately, a natural diamond is exactly what you think. It's mined,
dug out of the ground by some 12-year-old in Uganda.
Right. They're small. They can get into tight places.
Yeah.
A lab diamond is a real diamond, but they basically bring it to the lab and put it on steroids.
Okay.
So what you effectively have is a more controlled product. So the real differences are, the lab diamond, you can control the quality. I don't know if that's the right word, but usually they're more clear, and they're usually a lot more brilliant or sparkly, whatever.
Yeah.
Than natural diamonds, because natural diamonds will have more
whatever
regular imperfections.
Yeah.
So either way, I go, I don't really know the difference. And this was before anyone had answered me. I just emailed the woman back. I go, natural diamond. I don't know why, but a lab diamond just doesn't sound like something I want to get.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
I don't have a real reason. I don't have a good reason, a bad reason. It just doesn't sound like something I want. So fine. And she goes, and so she goes, "Yep, cool, sounds good." She goes, "I should be able to have that stuff Tuesday. Um, like when can you come in?" I go, 10, like when you open.
Yeah.
And I think we've eventually pushed it to noon because the shit was slow to come in because again they don't have a showroom or anything, so she orders the samples and stuff to come in.
Okay.
Um, and then maybe they hold like some of that stuff.
Is this like a small shop type of deal?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So, um, and then she tells me, she goes, I'll have a couple labs here just so you can look at them. I go, yeah, that's fine. No, like no problem. I'll look at them.
Right.
Um, so the Tuesday at noon comes. It's the day after MLK, so that's like the 17th
Yeah.
or something,
Hmm.
something like that. So I run over there, and it's in a big building in Norwood called the Space Center.
Okay.
So it's like 8AA is the unit. I'm
Okay.
like, all right. So I go in building 8, and I'm following the letters, and I'm walking back. I'm like, AA. I'm like, it's, I guess, near A's. I don't know. So I'm like
Yeah.
walking around because everything's like almost like little individual offices. It's almost like a big dorm too, because then there's just like people randomly working in like random little like hallways. It's a very, very strange place.
Yeah.
So I'm walking trying to find double A. I'm in building 6. I'm like, great. I've I've left 8 and I'm in 6. Look, a bathroom. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Yeah.
So I come back out and I start walking, and I'm like, well, I'm in building 8. So if I have to walk back and forth until I find the fucking thing, I will.
Yeah.
My dumbass, it's like an Excel sheet. Once you go past Z, then it's double A. So that's why I went the wrong
Oh.
fucking way.
Oh.
So whatever. Eventually I find the little office, and you walk in, and it's just a table. Like there's like a table for you and the person to sit at, and then like a desk for them. And I think there's like some little side room that might be used for like fittings or something. I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
Um, so it's not like a jewelry showroom that I went to. It's just like a like only custom spot, which
Yeah.
is fine. I really don't fucking care.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, that's fine, but it's just a
It
strange, and I
was
know
it
it,
was
it came on a referral, and I would
right,
imagine that's probably the only way this woman does business is a
pretty
referral.
much.
If she's
You're
in a
not getting
fucking
walked through.
right, yeah, exactly.
Um, so I get in, I sit down, and she puts three naturals and 3 labs in front of me. And I'm like, and she has like a presentation on like fucking color and clarity, and I don't know, the
Yeah.
fucking 4Cs, Cape Cod Community College, whatever it is. Um, so I'm looking at them, and it's like I can see the labs. So all of the labs that she gave me were like either 2 to 2.5 times as big as the other ones.
Okay.
And they are a little bit, they're clearer. Um, I don't know if they were really like too much shinier. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But still, there's just something like wrong here. I'm like, there's something wrong here. Like, I don't know what it is. They look fine. Just get the labs away from me. So that takes 3 out of the equation right away. And then she gives me 3 naturals to pick from. And there's one. So the one with the least carrots, but best quality. There was one in the middle, and then there
Yeah,
was
but how many potatoes?
and then the bigger one was a less quality. And I noticeably could tell. I'm like, I don't like this one, so just get rid of that one too. So then I'm like looking, I'm like, man, I don't know how this is gonna like actually like look in the ring. And then she's got the loop. And she's like, oh, do you want to look through the loop? I go, well, I guess if I'm buying the thing, I should probably look at it through the loop. I'm like, I'm putting a significant investment. I should probably look at it.
Yeah.
And then it's like every diamond has a chart to it. So when you get your report on the diamond, it has a map of like what the imperfections actually are.
Oh.
So she's looking through the loop, and like you can tell, like, because the report has, I forget what they're called. The imperfections are called something. Um, so she's like looking for them, and she can see them, and then there's this other one, and it's only got like a black dot, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and she goes, yeah, we can get the loop. I go, actually, you know what? I go, I'm never gonna look at this thing through a loop ever again. I go, don't give me the loop, because all I'm gonna do is just like seriously, like I'm never gonna look at it again.
Is the
Actually,
loop just like a magnifying glass?
yeah, it's like a jeweler's
Okay.
magnifying glass.
Yeah.
It goes right up on your eye.
Right.
So that's all it is. And so I'm like, I don't need to look at that. And then she has like a diamond light. I'm like, all right, okay, fine. I'll look at the diamond light. I go, this is nothing here. So ultimately, I just get the one. It was a little bit small. It was like 0.04 carats smaller, and it just looked better. So I'm like, all right, we'll do that one. Okay. She's like, yep, good. This is the diamond you're getting. So like, so that's I guess that's an advantage, because sometimes I think if you go to a showroom, it's like, hey, well, you can't take this one, but we'll get you whatever. But then you don't know all that stuff. Now, I don't think, I think that would be a bad jeweler to do it that way.
Right.
Unless they have some right then and there and you can buy it and leave at the same time. Like that could be a thing. But either way, so
yeah, we did that for Amy's wedding ring. We literally just bought it out of the case, and all they had to, I don't even think they had to size it, because I think it was already in her size. It was literally like, okay, let me put this in a bag. I'll clean it up for you and you can pick it up next week.
Yeah. I think that's that could be a little more common with the actual bands, not the engagement ring, because the engagement ring is really about the diamond.
Right.
So more emphasis is put on that. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right. So I ultimately pick my one, and she's like, oh, yeah, how do you want to pay for this? Like, we can do full, or we can do 60% now. I go, just fucking take it. I go, well, I'm like, fuck. I go, let's try to do all of it, because it's like my credit card limit would cover it.
Right.
But I've never made a purchase that expensive, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So I stick the card in, big red fucking thing comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Decline. I'm like, ah, shit. And it's like I had checked. I made sure that I had enough on the credit line there.
Right.
So I called JetBlue, the JetBlue card.
Yeah, Barclay Bank.
So I call them and, go through the security, the automations, representative, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, hey, like I'm actually trying to buy like an engagement ring right now. I just want to make sure the transaction can go through. She's like, oh my God, congratulations. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Can you fucking
yeah, I don't really give a shit. Just
this poor woman is
just take the lock off my card.
I'm just trying to spend this.
I'm trying to give this woman my money.
And she goes, all right, well, I'm looking at your account right now. She goes, I'll put a note on your account that you're making this purchase, but that error wasn't a lack of funds or anything. It was a chip read error. I go, fuck. So I made the call for no reason, but the little screen on the reader didn't say that.
Yeah.
If you go to Shaw's and you put your card in, it goes,
right. It'll say chip error. Yeah.
So that's all it was. It wasn't the credit limit. So I didn't even need to call. So
just needed to wipe the fucking chip off.
Yeah. Just
and blow in the slot.
Yep. And then she's like, she was all right. It's going to be like 10 to 14 business days for it to come in. And I'm like, this is the 17th. And I'm like, ah, shit. Because we knew that last night was going to be her birthday party. We knew her friends were going to be in town. I knew one of her cousins was coming. I knew her sister was coming. I knew you guys were coming. And then people would meet us out, whatever. I'm like, that sucks, because that would have been pretty good. That would have been a pretty good scene. Her friend, again, because her friends and her cousin are out of town, or they don't live around here. So it's
right.
They would have been up here. That would have been cool, because then I would have to they probably would have wanted to be there if they could. And it's like they just came up. Now, what are they going to do? Come back up in
Right.
like
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, they might do it, but it's like kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, dude, it is what it is. Like, by the time I was ready to make the purchase and get the appointment, it's just math. Like I can't make
Right.
days change.
Right.
So fast forward. So that was Tuesday, I think the 17th. So Thursday, 26th. Is that what that is?
Yeah. So like 7 business days later.
Yeah. Maybe whatever this Thursday was. The woman emails me and she goes, "Hey, the ring's here. Let me know when you want to come get it." And I'm like, I'm thinking because it's Thursday and I'm at work. I can't get out Thursday night.
Right.
So I have to go Friday, or I could have gone Saturday too, but I would have liked to have gone Friday. So I emailed right back. I go, "Yeah, can you do before 11:30 on Friday tomorrow?" She goes, "Yep, I'm available from 10 to 11." I go, "Great." And then I look at my calendar. I had a fucking client. I go, "Fuck." So text my client like, "Hey, can we do 9?" She goes, "Yeah." She says, "Yeah, no problem." Email the woman back. I'll be like, "I'll be there at between 10:30 and 10:45." So Friday comes. Train the girl. Shoot up to Norwood. Get the ring. Drive back to work. Finish the workday. Go grocery shopping, whatever. So I get home. I think they were here. So her 2 friends had gotten here by now.
Right.
So I had the ring just in my gym bag because I was like, I'm just gonna leave it in there because she's never going in my gym bag.
Right. Yeah.
And that so that my gym bag stays up in my room.
Right.
Or our bedroom to be more accurate. So now I'm like thinking, I go, all right, so I've got the ring. I go, I'm not planning like much here. And then I'm like, it's also only like 2 days from now. I go, I'm not fucking telling anyone. I go, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So like as my planning is going, I'm like, all right, so what'll happen is my gym bag's upstairs. Like, I'm like, I'll just run up. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to grab some cash or something, whatever. So run upstairs. That's how I'll get the ring. I'll leave it in my coat pocket in the box. And like, that won't be an issue. But then I'm like thinking, I go, so we're doing like a sit down dinner for like 10 people. And then we'll like move over to the bar. So I'm like, I should probably do it when we pay the bill, because that way,
right,
because the one thing, like, because I could have done it earlier, like, hey, everyone, thanks for coming, like, drop to a knee, like, do it, everyone's excited,
right.
Now everyone sit down, look at a menu, what do you want to eat?
Yeah,
like,
exactly, right. It's
it kills the mood. And then it's like the server would have came over and it's like, oh, do we need a minute? It's like, actually no one here is paying attention to this menu whatsoever. So
right, yeah.
Like, it would have been, it would not have, it had to be after that.
Right.
So I was using the bill as my thing, because the other thing was, if like there's going to be some level of excitement here,
right,
like I want to make sure like the bill's got to get paid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if we're cutting it up, splitting it, someone's paying for it. I didn't know any of that. So I'm like, I was using the bill like that, because this comes back around. I was using the bill as like cyclical, as my indicator. Like that's when that was go time. And then, as the night goes, I'm like, we'll be near like the Common. Should we like go to the Common? I'm like, nah, that's stupid. I'm like, it's gonna be like a restaurant though. I'm like, do I really want to? I'm like, dude, stop overthinking this. Stop overthinking this. Because I thought
the internal dialogue is like just like, running and run. It's like a hamster on a wheel.
And like, so we get there, I look around, I go, okay, like the table we're at's like away enough, like that's fine, that'll work. So like the first time I went to the bathroom, I looked at like the speakeasy part. I go, nah, I can't be in there
Right.
because obviously now we're at the place. So,
Right.
and never mind the nervous energy all over the place. Like if anyone was like
Oh
paying
yeah.
attention,
Yeah.
lot of nervous energy. So
Yeah, one of her, I think it was either one of her
Tori,
friends. It
I think
was
Tori
like,
was like, you were acting like a fucking weirdo the whole
well, there
day.
was one, it might have been her cousin though, that said you turned down getting another beer. Like the guy came over, like the waiter came over and was like, "Oh, do you want another beer?" And you're like, "No, I still got a little bit left in this one." And I think her cousin was like, I was like, "What the fuck? Like, who are you?"
So I'm like looking around the place and I'm like, all right, it's gotta be. It's gotta be at the table because down the hallway has lighting, but it doesn't make any sense to do it down the hallway. I go over by that bar, it's like kind of in the middle. Like that doesn't make sense either. I go, so the check comes because this is the other thing too, is like people like talking, and all I'm thinking about is what the fuck, like
Yeah.
how I'm gonna actually do this.
Right.
Because like the one thing about not having a plan is then you're making up the plan as you go.
Right. And then anytime you do come up with a plan, you start second guessing it. You're like, oh,
Right.
should I really do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that going to work?
Right. And then and then the other thing too is it's not like I had you guys like staked out by Frog Pond.
Right.
And it was like, hey, I'm taking an Uber. Like, hey, we're getting out of the Uber now. Like
Right.
we weren't like, and then it's like, I know once we get to this point, I'm just gonna do it. Like it was like we had a little variable. And then
Right.
it's like when I thought we were done, like then the guy brought out like desserts. Shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I look over and I'm like, so then the band shows up because there's a
Oh
band for the
yeah.
night. So they start like
Those
warming
guys
up
start
kind of. I go,
showing
oh,
up.
fuck. I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to get this in before the band starts.
Yeah.
So the guy, so then our server takes the check. If anyone like actually had a camera on me, it would be like so fucking obvious. So the server takes the check. And, we weren't cutting it up. Like her father was nice enough to cover dinner. So the server takes the card. So I'm like looking at him, looking at the band. This is all over my left shoulder. Like looking at him, looking there. Then I see him go back, like behind the thing. Then he goes back out to like go to another table. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Get this fucking check over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like looking, then I hear the band kind of like rustling around, like kind of doing like a couple, like whatever. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I need this fucking. I need this check to get out here because I want the bill to be paid and I want to like
Right.
just
Well, the other
no
thing
bullshit.
too you said was a good point. Like you didn't want the server like walking up to the table as you were like doing this, right? Like because then he's either
Right.
like in the pictures that the girls are trying to take or like trying to
Right.
like walk in between you guys. It's like, oh, it's an awkward
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
For like this guy who's like, oh, here's your check. I hope I
Yeah.
didn't ruin that.
Exactly. Like that's the thing is like if he wasn't like watching, he like comes over with the check as I'm fucking kneeling down, like
Right.
it just saves it for everybody.
Yeah.
So Julia was signing, so the second I'm like watching, so now I'm staring at Julia. I'm like, can you fucking add this tip up faster? Like she's probably moving at a perfectly fine rate.
But
like,
to you it feels like fucking molasses.
I go, can you fucking get this figured out? like and then the second she signed her name, the second she signed for it, receipt goes back in, and then I look over, I go, you gotta stand up for me. And she's like, why? I go, stand up. I'm like, and because they thought I was going back to the bathroom again.
Right.
So the funny thing is so I had gone to the bathroom twice, legitimate time. Like I really had to piss.
Right. Like, yeah, you get a piss.
So then when I told her, I go, you got to stand up. Tori was ready. She thought I was going to the bathroom. She was ready to come fucking follow me.
Yeah.
And she was going to interrogate me before I got to the bathroom. But like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Right.
And then instead that's when I popped the question. So Bill came, or the Bill came, took care of it, done deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Caught
it was
everyone off guard.
funny.
The
It was
only person
funny.
who
There you go.
I was gonna say, because the only person who knew that I was proposing that night was my mother.
Yeah.
Now, Chris knew I had gone to get a ring, but he didn't know I had it
Right.
because he didn't work Friday. So a couple people from the gym knew I was like planning something, but I think Chris was the only one who knew I had the ring. And my mother knew that I was going to ask because I had seen her that morning.
Right. Right.
So legit, nobody knew. I was the only one.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
I almost had to call an audible because Amy texted Michaela on Friday being like, hey, like, I'm like super fucking sick.
Yeah.
She goes, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it or not. I'll let you know tomorrow. But Amy had said, she goes, but you're still going. I was like, all right, fine. And then like during the day at one point, I was like, has Amy texted you yet? She's like, no, not yet. And then when Amy did, saying like, hey, I feel fucking awful. Like I won't be there.
Yeah.
I go, no, still going? She goes, yep. I go, cool. Because again, I was gonna have to call you and be like,
yeah.
Hey, this is what's happening. If you ain't coming, got it. But this is the deal.
Yeah.
So, but then that didn't have to happen.
Right. Well, it was funny, like sitting at the table, like I was sitting right next to you and you stood up and Michaela stood up and I wasn't paying like super close attention. And then I saw you take a box out of your, it was like the white box came out of like your jacket or something. And I go, oh, fuck, it's going down right now. And then it like,
because that was the other
down.
thing. So now we all know, obviously, podcast aside, I try to use as few words as possible in daily life.
Yeah.
But I also knew that there was no hiding this box. It was white.
Right.
It was pretty clunky. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they're all that height. I don't know, but like it was like fairly big. So it's like it was white and fairly big. So there was no hiding it.
Right.
And it's like it didn't fit in like my jean pockets. So I knew like once I pulled that out, it's like you gotta like get to.
Right.
Never mind. It's like I can't imagine being down on the knee and sitting there like giving a fucking like monologue.
Right?
Like we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like seriously, we all know what's going on here.
Right. Like I'm not some modern day Shakespeare here. I'm not Ryan Gosling that's gonna sit here and like woo you with my words. Like
no. And if that's what it takes, then what? Like
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, the whole place erupted. So you got I wouldn't call it a standing ovation.
It wasn't a standing ovation, though.
You got a pretty rousing round of applause from like the entire fucking restaurant. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing is some people have given me shit. They're like, oh, I can't believe you did it in public. I go, dude, there was no like.
Yeah, there was no other situation that would have worked.
Because that's the thing is I only got the ring so close to the day. And I didn't think I was going to have it. Right. I was expecting to get the ring like next week or the week after.
Right.
Yeah, this coming week is like when I thought I'd have it.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, well, it's coming after the party. So then I guess I'll have to come up with something. But then when it was like there, I go, you know what? I'm not fucking telling anyone because there's no plan. There's no like,
right.
Like I don't need anybody. Everyone's already there. Everyone's already in the same place.
Yeah.
And it's like I was thinking, I'm like, we don't even really need a video either because it's gonna be in a dark restaurant. Like the video is gonna suck. So Julia ended up getting one. Right. Fucking ninja with the phone.
Yeah.
So she ended up getting one, but it's like I knew that wasn't like a priority. Like the setting and the scene and all that shit. I go, and it's not because it's more important that since I had the ring, it was more important that I did it when they were all there, when everyone was all present.
Right.
But the other thing too is it's like I just can't imagine. Like I can't imagine just being like having like a speech or having something written out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems
I
weird.
can't either. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it works for some people, but I,
Well,
yeah,
because I was talking to someone this morning. It was probably one, if it could have been all three of them. I don't know, because the girls were still here today. And I was like, not for nothing, for how overwhelming the occasion can be. Half of what you say isn't even heard.
yeah,
Like, it's not even like, even if you wordsmith the best fucking thing you can, like, it doesn't matter.
right.
Can't remember all the details. Fuck
Yeah, you
that.
can't. All you remember is that it happened. You know what I mean? Like you remember
Yes.
like being in the moment and like what it felt like, but you don't really remember like what they said. I would imagine it would be more difficult to remember if there is like some big long speech. Like how the fuck are you gonna remember like a 45-second speech instead of being like, hey, I love you, will you marry me? The type of thing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
short, sweet, to the point. Like don't
Right.
because then it's like, oh, what did he say? He was like going on about like roses, and did he say something about like the
And
sunshine? I don't really remember. You know, it's like it's fucking
I was
stupid.
really just waiting, I was really just waiting to fucking take the ring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I proposed, I was just trying not to have a fucking heart attack.
that's
So
true.
I hiked the mountain for the second time.
Yep.
I was convinced I was going to have rhabdo. I was like, wow, this is fucking terrible. But made it.
Yep.
And it was a good time. And it was
Yep.
fun. I think everyone enjoyed it. Like I said, you got a rousing applause from the audience.
Yep.
So I think it was
Yep. And then of course it's like everyone else have reached everyone out. Like once we started telling people, it's like what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me? I go, I didn't tell anyone. I go, my
yeah.
mother was the only one who knew.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. People are like, oh, how come you didn't tell me? And it's like, well, I didn't tell anybody.
I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, like no one knew.
Yeah.
Like when I
No one.
proposed, no one knew. Literally, the only person that knew was my mom because I
Yep.
called her in the car when I was driving to New Hampshire. I literally woke up that morning and like called out of work sick. I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm banging in. I'm doing it today. I decided that morning, and I was like, all right, we're getting it done.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
it.
And the way I looked at it was I just felt super lucky that it came in on the day it came in.
Right.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
it did all work out for you because, like you said, the alternative, like it would have been fine, right? Like it still would have been great, but it obviously like not having her friends there, then get them back, and like the whole thing. It's more of a hassle. So
yeah,
it was good that the 10 to 14 business days was only 7 business days. Or less, actually, from Tuesday the following Thursday.
Tuesday to Thursday.
Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, that's 7 business days.
Yep.
So, yeah. Hey, idiot.
Yep. So here we are.
Well, speaking of dumb being dumb, the 49ers were really dumb. And I know so I know this episode's going to come out on Thursday, so I'm not going to spend too much time like breaking down the actual game, but that sucked. That was a terrible fucking game.
Yep.
Very unfortunate to be a 49ers fan. I want to give my condolences to Nick. Hopefully you still have a TV in your house and it didn't get fucking shattered like Vinny in New Orleans. But yeah, just unfortunate, right? Like it's literally So I tweeted this out because I looked it up. Since 2015, the 49ers have had one season where they've had a single starting quarterback for all 16 games, or 17 in the last 2 years. It doesn't matter. Like, and that was in 2019 with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that was the year they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
They lost the Super Bowl that year. Every other year, like they have not had anyone. I don't think anyone started more than 12 games as a quarterback. Now maybe last year Garoppolo got like 13 because they benched him for Trey Lance at one point. So like last year, they didn't. The reason it happened last year wasn't due to injury. It was because they just benched Garoppolo and went with Trey Lance because was supposedly the future. He was their first round draft pick. But other than last year, it's always been because of injury. And like I looked back in some of these seasons and it was like CJ Beathard got like 6 games. Nick Mullins. Yeah, it's just been bad all the way back to Kaepernick. Even like one of those years Kaepernick got hurt too. So, it's just unfortunate, right? It sucks if you're a 49ers fan that you haven't had a healthy, that you've had one season of a healthy quarterback in the last, what is that, 9 seasons or something like that? 8 seasons. So like so I tweeted this out too, which I originally said it as a joke, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought that like there could be potentially some substance to it. And I'll kind of see what you think. And then, we can't really see what the listeners think, but you can let us know on Twitter. You can reach out to us at sarcasm_speaks on Twitter. But I had said again in jest that, do you think the Yorks, which is the family that owns the 49ers, for those that don't follow football, or do you just didn't know? Do you think the Yorks are going to propose a rule change this offseason that would implement something similar to what the NHL does for an emergency
quarterback?
The emergency quarterback that sits up in the booth. In, like I said, in a worst case scenario, because the NHL does that. They have the emergency goalie. He sits up on the 9th floor. And then if both goalies go down, then they can pull him in. And again, I originally said it as a joke, but then the more I thought about it and the more I had to watch that game, I was like, fucking A, man, like it, at least for the playoffs, right? Like if it's a playoff game, I think that the emergency quarterback up in the booth is actually potentially a good idea, because the alternative is having to watch what we just had to watch a couple hours ago, which was absolute dog shit football. Would you say? Sorry, you were getting a little skippy there.
So I think, okay. So what I think they should do is maybe not use the emergency quarterback, but expand rosters by one player. So I don't know what the roster actually is right now. Is it still 53?
53, yeah.
And 46 on game day?
I think they might have gone up. Maybe it's 55
with practice, I think it's squad elevations.
Yeah, I think it's 55 now.
They should go up to. They should add one position and mandate you have to dress 3 quarterbacks. That's what they should do. Yeah. Like, so give them another spot, but force them to use 3.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but you would have but you wouldn't have because people joking, like if Brian Greasy is your emergency quarterback, you don't have to play Brian Greasy,
right?
Like you can play an actual
quarterback.
Yeah, because I think I would say like part of hockey, why it's an emergency guy that's like just off to the side. Benches are only so big. Like
Right.
these arenas are already constructed. Like there's nowhere else really to put a goalie, like another goalie.
Right.
So I mean that could just be like a oversight in logistics, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but like you can add another person to football sideline, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's playoff only, or
I think it should be probably playoffs only, right? Like during the regular season, it sucks, right? Like if you only dress two quarterbacks and they both get hurt, like whatever, dude. It's a regular season. But when it comes to be the playoffs, I would get behind the mandatory three active quarterbacks.
or like maybe it's not like a roster spot, but it's like a practice squad quarterback can go to the games.
Right.
And in the case that a quarterback is ineligible or is unable to return to the game, then you can use the practice squad guy. So that way it's like he does have like a spot.
Right.
Like he's on the practice squad. He's not just whoever. And it's like, yeah, in case of emergency, break glass.
Right. Yeah. And it's
almost like what you said, just with like structure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not just
yeah.
like a random guy.
Right. Yeah, and I think too it becomes more necessary in today's NFL when you take into account the concussion spotting.
Yes.
Like it is much easier for a quarterback especially, to be taken out of the game for a concussion today than it was even 3 years ago, right? Like
and you should want that too, because it might also discourage, like, so like say you're Josh Johnson today and you know Purdy's hurt and you don't get spotted, but you know you're concussed.
right.
It's a lot easier to be like, hey, I got my fucking bell rung. Like,
Yeah.
get the practice squad guy like warming up.
Right.
So I think, because I know what like the NFL would say is they don't want just like, some guy. So I think if you give it some structure, there should be something. Because again, quarterback, and then what other people say is like, well, what if you lose all your safeties? Well, it's like the only thing with the quarterback is that's a very, very specialized position.
Right.
Like
Not anyone can step in and throw the ball.
It's the only person that throws the ball. Right. They have special helmets, like special equipment, like
right,
because they need to get the play calls, like
yeah.
And then defense has the play calls, but any defender can wear the dot.
Right. Right.
Do they still do the green dot?
Yeah, they do.
So like any defender can wear the green dot.
Right.
Any of the 11, only one can wear that on offense. And it's got to be the quarterback.
Right. And I mean, people, to use your example, what if someone loses all their safeties? Well, then you take a corner and have them go play safety. Right. Like,
yeah, you can't take a reserve lineman and have him play quarterback. Or
if you lose all your linebackers, it's not ideal, but like you're not playing with linebackers, right? Like you're gonna go out.
You can put more D-backs, or you can put you have an end that can run.
Right. You put 4 or 5 down linemen, and then you got D-backs out for the rest of it, and you got to figure it out. Right. Like it's just different, because people are gonna bitch and complain and come up with some stupid bullshit no matter what, right? And it's like, you guys are just assholes. Like, oh, well, what about this? What? It's that, like, why treat something special? Because it fucking is.
It is.
Because it is. It is special. The quarterback position is a very specialized position in the NFL. It's the most important position on the team.
Also, I know you're not watching this game right now. I don't know if Travis Kelce's taking hits. He just caught a ball over the middle and fucking lateraled it back.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he was questionable with back spasms. That would be interesting, watching a football player who isn't taking hits.
Yeah, I just saw that. I just turned and saw he lateraled it to fucking Jared McKinnon, who dropped it.
It wasn't like a lateral play. It looks like he's avoiding contact.
Yeah.
Which is a good call, because he was wide open on that play too.
Right. Yeah, that's nuts. And he would
Well,
have
I don't
got
know. I
lit up.
mean, so
He-
Twitter's thinking now. So this is the interesting thing because I'm not listening to the game with sound.
right.
Twitter seems to think that that was a play call, was the lateral. But just because, I mean, again, I just saw it with no.
Yeah, I mean, they were way too far apart. You know what I mean? Like if that was the actual like play, how it was drawn up, it was not executed correctly.
Right. But I wonder, yeah, okay. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was called that way, but just watching the game on
Oh
silent,
Jesus.
yeah, that was awful. Literally awful.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was listening to, I think it was the Fantasy Footballers podcast the other day, and they were talking about that move specifically, the flick pass, the underhand, like the flick pass that Pat Mahomes does all the time. And they said that there's actually an advantage to it because if so they said there's a trade-off, right? It's you're more likely to drop the ball when you're flicking it in the air than you are for a direct handoff from quarterback to running back, body to body, right?
Right.
However, if there's a fumble or they drop it on the flick, it's an incomplete pass, it's a dead ball.
Right.
But if you fumble the handoff, obviously it's a fumble, it's a live ball. And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting way to look at it. Like it's a lower chance of success statistically, right? But like you're protected from that statistical disadvantage because if it does get dropped, it's a dead ball.
Yeah. Well, and then like the underhand, because you just threw an underhand pass. Like those, because they like to do that, those like underhand passes. Like,
Right.
I don't know what, like, you know, Kelsey will just like kind of like just stand there and catch one of them sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and there's a couple advantages there where, you know, if it's dropped, it's incomplete,
Right.
and it gives you a chance to like read what's going on before you can almost like let some defenders like over pursue or whatever you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, they were joking about it being a fantasy football podcast, and they were saying like, it's fucking Andy Reid trying to get Pat Mahomes more stats and points and stuff like that because it goes down as a passing touchdown,
Right.
even though you're just like literally it's a forward lateral. You're literally just flicking the ball. Like sometimes it's a toss. Like sometimes he'll get the ball and just kind of like toss it up. Or even other teams do it, the push pass.
Yeah.
Like the guy quarterbacks in the shotgun, ball gets snapped, and then like they hold the ball for like a second and then just kind of like throw it up, run, wide receiver runs across their face, gets the ball, runs, a jet sweep with it, whatever. Like that technically counts as
That's a
pass.
Yeah, so because if you have a jet sweep where, say, the receiver was just going to grab the snap, he could easily fumble that. And if the timing's off, he could get hit with the ball and then it's live.
Right.
But yeah, if the quarterback, because I think Geno Smith at West Virginia was just like batting the ball.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even like holding it. He would just like the ball would come back and he would just kind of like push it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, I hate that shit.
I do too. I think it's fucking dumb. But it works, right?
It can.
Yeah.
Didn't right there.
No, it didn't. But they were protected because it was just an incomplete pass, which there was like 4 Bengals right there to pick the ball up.
Yeah, it should have been picked.
Yeah. So interesting stuff there. Hopefully this game ends up being better. I mean, it's 3-0 right now at the end of the first. So it's not that much better than the early game. At least it's close. I'll say it's not. And at least they have both quarterbacks.
And I'll say Kelsey just took a hit, but it looked like he was trying to lateral again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm interested to watch.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, I'm on a delay.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm ahead of you.
I think it's my
superior internet.
Yeah, my Roku is old that it's on. I mean, this is the one from the basement.
I could do it.
Yeah, it's just an old Roku, old connection, whatever. So I guess it's about to be 6-0.
It's the quarter, end of the quarter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, what else we got going on? Anything? I don't know. Hey, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure.
About an hour.
Yes. Okay. I got my final thought because I
What do you
didn't
got?
have it. I didn't have it on there. I think beef shanks are going to be my new jam.
Ooh.
So it's almost like getting short ribs, but they're cheaper.
Yeah.
So I've been making them. I think I've made them twice in the last couple weeks. So I sear both sides. And then all I do from there is just throw it in the crock pot with wine and beef stock. And I let it go for, I don't know, 5 hours,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then you still get like that shredded, like fattier, tougher cut to shred.
Right.
And I'm thinking those are gonna be like my thing because it's fucking sucks to pay $9 a pound for short ribs, even though I do love short ribs.
I do too. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know, $9 a pound for bone-in short ribs. It's
Yeah. I mean, typically, like you get three of them at Market Basket, and it's usually like anywhere between 20 $25, depending on how big they are.
yeah, it just doesn't the price doesn't seem worth it for me. Like
Yeah.
once in a blue moon, fine, but
Yeah.
at that rate, I'd also probably prefer to just pay the $30 at a restaurant to get them. Then that
Right.
way someone else did them because short ribs can be temperamental a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if the you can cook them like low and slow, but sometimes they still end up being just like a little tough. But like someone in a restaurant has that shit perfected,
Yeah. It's
like a good
literally
restaurant.
it's literally their job.
You would hope.
Yeah.
Um,
Why? How much do beef shanks run?
450.
Oh wow. It's literally half the price.
Yeah. So I think those are going to be my jam. And I might just stick with the crock pot. I don't know. Maybe like Dutch oven in the oven. I don't do
Yeah.
that a lot though.
I use the Dutch oven when I braise short ribs.
Do you do them in the oven or do you do them on the stove?
No, I do it on the stove.
Yeah. See, I did them on the stove one time, and the cast iron. The best part of the cast iron is that it holds in heat,
Mm-hmm.
and the worst part of the cast iron when braising is that it holds in heat.
Yeah.
So it's like I couldn't get a simmer going. I could only get like boiling.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I could use a smaller burner or something. I don't know. That's the only struggle I've had with shanks or short ribs. Any type of braising on the stove is I just struggle to regulate
Yeah.
the heat.
Yeah. That can be a fucking pain in
But
the ass.
what some people do is they'll effectively do the same thing, like sear, add your liquid, add whatever you're adding, and then throw it in the oven like 350 for 3-4 hours, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. I think I did that one time. I've made them a few times now. I think one of the times I might have put it in the oven, but I think most of the time I just do it on the stove.
Yeah.
So I'll have to keep an eye out the next time I go to Market Basket for beef shanks because I don't know if I've ever seen them. Truthfully, I haven't looked for them, so I'll start looking for them. But I
Do you
don't
know what they
know
look
if
like?
yeah, it's just a fucking shank. It's a bone with meat around it.
No, it's a circle.
Yeah, yeah. Is
So
that
the
the
beef,
equivalent to like
it's a shin.
a veal ossobuco, whatever the fuck it's called?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also buco. Yeah, also buco is the dish.
yeah,
I think it's a veal shank because a shank is
right.
just a calf
Yeah,
or it's a shin, and then so like the Thor's hammer is like the whole shank.
right.
If you've ever seen one of those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I pictured in
Oh
my
yeah,
brain.
no. So it's not that. No. I get the small ones.
Okay.
I get like if it's just the two of us, I'll get like you know around two in between 2 and 3 pounds, whatever the denominations are.
Yeah.
But they're flat discs in the package.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen those before then.
Yeah, that's what I usually go with because as much as I want the big one, I don't have enough people to feed with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, that would be great on a smoker, and it's like fucking yen degrees outside right now.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
I think
Well,
supposed to
it's been warmer. It was warmer today, I think. Not that I don't think I went outside once, but
I didn't. Only to take the dog.
yeah, same. But hey, it's what happens when you get engaged the night before.
Yep. Was quite hungover. Drank the bar out of Bud Light.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot you did that.
Yep. So I drank. So not only did I drink the bar out of Bud Light, I probably had 6 not High Lifes, Miller Lights after that.
Yeah. So that I'm gonna pivot and piggyback my final thought off of that. I think I potentially am starting to get too old to drink more than like 1 or 2 drinks when I go out now, because I didn't drink that much last night. I only had, I think, from dinner started at 6 and I left at 11 o'clock. I think I only had like 4 drinks, and now I think I had 2 old fashions and 2 neat bourbons, and over the course of 5 hours, like that's not a lot. So I was fine, right, when I wasn't
Right.
But I woke up this morning and felt like fucking shit. So the other part of that too I thought of was like, I don't know, maybe if they use like simple syrup in the old fashions, or however they make their old fashions, might have added to that, because obviously the more sugar is not that great. But I woke up this morning and was like, wow, like I don't feel good. Like I feel like shit. Like I don't know. My Whoop recovery was at fucking 8%. But I was like, this doesn't make sense, because it's not like I didn't get after it last night. I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, I don't know.
I don't either. I just know that my hangovers are they're just bad now.
Yeah. And like,
Like
I don't want to be a not anymore guy, but I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like, well, what's the point? Like if I have 4 bourbons over the course of 5 hours and I wake up the next morning and feel like dog shit, like what the fuck is the point? Like I feel like I drank like 11 bourbons, right? Like it's I just don't know. Certainly not as bad as some of those nights where, back in Mansfield, where we ran into,
bottom of the bottle.
yeah, we wake up the next morning and there's like 3 empty bottles of bourbon in the fucking trash, and we're like, oh wow. Not that they were full, but you know what I mean? Like they
Or
were
like when we did that. When did we do that? We did that here one day.
Yeah, we did.
Was it Amy's bachelorette?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think when they went to Block Island, and then they went back to this house, and then I stayed with you. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we woke
3
up the next
bottles.
morning. There was 3 empty bourbon bottles in the fucking barrel. Like those times, obviously, yes, I expect to feel like shit. But I did not expect to feel as bad as I felt this morning from the not that much that I drank last night.
I pretty much did.
Well, I mean, you, like you said, you drank them out of Bud Light.
But so on Friday, I drank 5 high noons as I was just like sitting here home, and like woke again. Like I would not have expected to wake up feeling the way I did after 5 high noons.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. The hangovers are real.
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
also find that my hangovers are worse with a like out to eat dinner, because I think it's more food, it's more salt, it's more sodium, it's more shit.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I cook at home or eat a little bit lighter.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point too.
I've been noticing that type of stuff's been fucking getting to me.
Yeah, that food was good last night though.
It was good.
When I got the beef ragu with the fucking whatever pasta it was. That was because it was like a braised beef that came
Yeah.
in it. And it was spicy. It was fucking delicious. So yeah, I mean, throw that into the fact too, right? Like I ate like a pasta steak ragu dinner with only 4 bourbon drinks. And you would think like, you'd be fine
Not
the next
anymore.
morning, and not anymore. So this kind of fucking sucks. I might well, clearly my best days are behind me, but
Yep.
it's it's one of those, like I said, that you almost kind of have to be like, what's the fucking point? Because I know I've already resigned myself to the fact that I can't drink beer anymore. Because I
Right.
could have 2 beer. I could drink 2 Bud Lights and feel like shit in about 15 minutes. Like it
Right.
doesn't even hit me the next morning. It hits me that night. And like I just feel like dog shit. So I've already basically given up on beer. I mean, I can drink some of the heavier stuff. Like for some reason, like porters and stouts are fine. Like those don't bother me as long as it's a dark beer, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally anything else, like it just fucks me up. So I don't know. I think I'm just turning into a huge bitch.
Yep.
So this is life
Sure
after
are.
30.
Yep. I would say sometime when I turned 29 is when the hangovers got real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know. Well, I started noticing a major difference probably around like 27 is when I noticed that like I didn't quite bounce back as quickly as I used to. Whereas like, you wake up hungover and you're typically fine by like noon. This would be like the hangovers would start to last like a full day. And then a little bit after that, then they would like, you don't feel normal again. You go out Saturday and you don't feel really normal again until like Monday or Tuesday. That was, probably like 28, 29. And it's like, wow, I can't do this anymore.
Sure can't.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I would like to say that I would change something, but I'm not gonna.
yeah, same.
No, because again, when I'm out, I know how I am, and it's like I have to drink light beer because if I like the issue I have is whatever you put in front of me is I always look at it like it's a fucking race to the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
So like water, fucking Coke, Diet Coke, like what like again, it's always a fucking race to the bottom there. So there's not a whole lot I can do.
Yeah, I might have to start being like that, an actual person that like does the quote, mix in a water. Like it might have to literally be like I'll get a drink and then get a water and then get a drink and then get a water, like actually like alternate.
See, I say that. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it was disappointing. I was disappointed in myself when I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, you fucking suck. Like you did not even drink last night. So such is life, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna put a bow on it for this episode. So thank you all for joining on the ride, coming along here. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. The Twitter is sarcasm_speaks, like I said earlier. Our Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks. You go to our website, sarcasmspeaks.com. From there, potentially. If not there, you can definitely get to it from our Instagram. We have a merch store. It's different. So you can go there, you buy literally anything you want with our logo on it. I think we have some other stuff in there too. I haven't been on there truthfully in a while. I have to update it. I think because we have those shirts that were like, I think at that point it was like 2021 was my year, but then above it it was like 2019 crossed out, 2018 crossed out, 2017 crossed out. Yeah, so there's some fun shit there. Go check it out. What else we got? Oh, mybookie.com. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Coming up in like 48 hours, sports betting will be legal. Well, it's already legal, but we'll actually have physical locations open on Tuesday, so that'll be fun by the time this comes out on Thursday.
I will still be using my bookie.
As will I. Yes. Until, well, even when the mobiles come out, I'll still probably have, my bookie account just
Yeah, I mean, because
because.
I'll probably just continue to use it
Yeah. I mean, why
until
not?
until the account balance is zero or it gets high enough that I view it as worth cashing out.
Right. Right. So I hit Max Homa 21 to 1 yesterday on the what was it, the Farmers Insurance at Torrey
Yep.
Pines. So Max Homa won me some money there. So thanks. So I got a sizable bankroll now finally. Probably still not going to withdraw. I'm still probably going to just bet it all because I'm a fucking loser. But whatever. Go to mybookie.com and make some bets. You can also use that same promo code Sarcasm Pod at grillyourassoff.com. When you check out and you type that promo code in, you will get 15% off your order every single time you check out over there. So go support those guys. They're great. And I think that's it. So until next time, good night, everybody. Go Bengals.